Be with you in just a moment.
Senator President.
It's really a problem with time because we want to be done downstairs in Gardner by 8 o'clock. And so please bear with us. Instead of our answering questions, and I have the whole House, the whole Republican and Democratic caucuses here with me, I think it will unfold. I will tell you what we've done, and then you will see what we've done when you go down to Gardner. I don't have to tell you how turbulent and tragic and surprising and very sad the last 4 days have been for all of us. The circumstances that have led us today to this point are unprecedented and they're unfortunate. But choices had to be made, and today we've chosen to move on and to move forward. What's most important right now is that we work towards a swift and resolute conclusion to this whole sad event, and that we as a caucus and as a body work swiftly toward a return to regular order. That's why we're all here together today. We've been here since, in many cases, since 10 o'clock this morning. Let me tell you what we have decided in all these hours of discussion. It's been a very revealing time. It's very intense, and I think we all feel very good about what we've been able to say to each other and what we've been able to accomplish. First of all, you should know that we hear the victims of these allegations. We admire their courage in coming forward. No one who serves, works, or does business in the Massachusetts State House should feel unsafe, coerced, or unsupported. We welcome the proposal for investigations announced today by the Attorney General Maura Healey and the Suffolk District Attorney Dan Connolly. These investigations will address matters that are truly outside of the jurisdiction of the Senate, including criminal allegations. As resolved by the Senate, there will be an investigation by the Senate Ethics Committee to determine if the Senate President violated any of the rules of the Senate, including but not limited to Article 10A. We expect the Ethics Committee to hire an outside independent investigator for this investigation. Today, the Senate will accept the letter from the Senate President requesting a temporary leave of absence from the Senate presidency during the course of these matters. As when we go downstairs, I will be nominated, I hope, and so will my colleague here beside me, to act as acting president. We intend to comprehensively review the Senate's sexual harassment policy. We have already started that problem, and the Senate's Special Sexual Harassment Committee is charged with conducting this review and recommending any necessary changes. The Senate is also committed to creating an independent reporting entity for those that have been harassed in order for victims to feel comfortable again coming forward. There is zero tolerance in the Senate for retaliatory behavior toward anyone who comes forward. I would like to have my partner speak on this.
Thank you, Madam Leader. The allegations that have been made here are very serious, and they're deeply disturbing to every member of the Massachusetts State Senate. It's difficult for us to confront them, but confront them we must. That is our obligation to the people of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It's important that we empower an investigation as soon as possible, and I hope that will occur in just a few moments in the Senate chamber. One thing I want to stress is that these are decisions that must be made by our entire body. There have been conversations throughout the day, but ultimately the adoption of orders and the authorization for special investigations must be done on the floor of the Senate, which is why we are concerned about time this evening. I would also point out that it is important that we send a loud and clear message to the people who have come forward thus far, and others who might, that the Senate will have a zero-tolerance policy for retaliation of any way, shape, or form, and that we will treat that obligation by all of us very seriously. It's important as well that the Massachusetts State Senate be able to move forward with its business. That's an obligation, a solemn obligation we have to the people throughout this state. And so tonight, a decision must be made as to a new acting president of the Massachusetts State Senate. It is imperative for the independence of this investigation and all of the proceedings related to it that the current Senate president not be in the chair, so that folks will not fear retaliation and will know that everything that is done here will be done independent of his influence or involvement. And so we will make a decision shortly about a Senate president to preside during the course of these proceedings to ensure that independence is maintained. And lastly, I would suggest to everyone, as I have a couple of times in the past, that the Senate's ability to act here is limited to violations of our rules or the improper conduct of a member or the staff. We have a very fully formed criminal justice system to address the serious concerns that have been brought forward by the people who have alleged that they have been victims. And we would encourage folks to take full advantage of that criminal justice system to seek redress for acts that might have occurred that are much beyond the ability of the Senate to offer any remedy. Should they do that, and we are comforted by the willingness of the district attorney and the attorney general to open an investigation should someone come forward in that category, we are comforted by the fact that there are things such as victim witness advocacy, professional prosecutors, people that can help victims navigate the legal system to get to a proper form of redress. The investigation that both the Attorney General and the District Attorney have offered to open is in no way inconsistent with the investigation that I hope we will authorize tonight. In fact, they are consistent with each other, and they are both important in their own way. So tonight, my hope is that we will move forward. We will make some difficult decisions, but those decisions must be made, and we will continue to operate every step of the way in this process with independence, accountability, and transparency and effectiveness to ensure that people know that we will protect the integrity of the Senate through all of the means that are available to us. Thank you.
Madam Leader? I'm sorry, are you ready for questions?
I think we really must go immediately downstairs to
Madam Leader, are you
the...
resolved to step down as soon as this investigation
I am resolved to do so.
Is there a timeline for this investigation? Is there a deadline?
No.
No.
Frank, one of the mistakes that anyone can make with an investigation is to try to limit it in too many ways. This investigation needs to take as long as it takes, and it needs to go where the facts take it. And so for us to impose any kind of arbitrary limitations tonight would be a mistake, and I hope that we will not do it in the action that we're about to undertake on the floor.
Will Senator Rosenberg be given any official responsibilities, committee assignments moving forward?
Those will be decisions that have to be made subsequent to tonight. The important thing tonight is that we need to elect a president of the Senate, and we have certainly a number of procedures, including caucuses and a set of rules, to make subsequent determinations about what Senate President Rosenberg's role will be or Senator Rosenberg's role will be. But tonight we have to take action on some very pressing matters, and there will be an opportunity in the days that follow to make sure to structure things that properly allocate responsibilities and properly insulate people from having undue influence in matters they shouldn't influence.
What happens when you finish the investigation? And
I think we really must go downstairs. I don't mean to cut you off.
I will say this. I will say this very quickly in the most succinct way that I can, and then we have to leave. The investigation will culminate in a report to the Ethics Committee, as other investigations have and is prescribed by our rules. The Ethics Committee will then have evidence before it, and it will deliberate and make whatever determination it needs to make pursuant to the rules.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay,
As you heard the leaders say, it's now time for the Senate
I've
to
got to get
convene in
my
Gardner
phone.
Sure.